I'm raising my children with sex positivity as much as I possibly can. And what does that even mean to us, sex positivity? By that I mean I want my children to be aware from a very early age that sexuality is absolutely vital for their health, wealth, pleasure, and future success as a human being. I want them to see sexuality in the same boat as intellectual health, as physical health, as emotional and spiritual health, that sexuality and their health is as important, if not more important. So how do I go about doing that? The really first massive step is to make sure I am living with my own sexuality in a positive way, and that my partner, their father, that he is also representing a positive sexuality, and that their experience from us in our own expression of sexuality is positive, is safe, is understood, and is appropriate for the stages that they're at. We live in a community that is intentionally sex positive. So this simply means that people are welcome to explore themselves in fullness without judgment and without restriction or caution or shaming or limitation. But it also means that it's based in safety and consent. I have to say that the sex positive communities, environments, experiences that I've been involved with and I've experienced myself have been the safest places I have ever known sexually. And that's quite sad, actually, to say that. I'm bringing my hands to my face with this sort of feeling in my body of like, whoa, that's quite a statement. But I think it's important for me to make that statement because the perception in society is that sex positivity is just about people who want to have sex with each other. It's kind of cringeworthy to think how naive society is, but I'm aware because I came from that viewpoint myself once upon a time, not so long ago, and I just would have said, oh, that's swingers, isn't it? Oh, it's cringy. So actually sex positivity is full of consent and conversation or authenticity, and the most used word is safety. How safe are you? How safe am I? Am I communicating what I want, what I don't want, what's right for me, what's not right for me? How can I understand you better so I can serve you and your needs and your desires better? And I'm not just talking sexually. Sexuality is connected to our creativity. It's connected to our energy centers. It's connected to our body and how we feel about ourselves in the masculine and the feminine. For me, I am not woman. I am not man. I am soul, and I dance between the two all the time of my masculine and my feminine. And this is how I see people. I don't see people so easily now as male or female, and this has been such an evolution of freedom for me. So I'm teaching my children about what I'm learning and how I'm learning it. I'm teaching them to question. I'm teaching them to know their bodies and to follow the feelings and to question what is happening, why and when, safely. But I'm also encouraging them to play and to find out who they are physically, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually. Oh, how can a child play with finding out who they are sexually, I hear you say? Many ways. Many, many, many ways that are innocent and perfect and beautiful and safe. I worked with a family 2 or 3 years ago whose daughter was finding her clitoris, and she was finding it very naturally and beautifully, and she was finding many ways to explore her clitoris. This was something that frightened them. They were so concerned that they wanted to have my help to help her stop doing it, to stop that behavior. What if she went to school and did that? And she was doing innocent things, sitting on certain things that vibrated, or doing certain exercises. I don't know if you know that one, ladies, but pulling yourself out of a swimming pool or pulling yourself up on a pool bar can be incredible sensations down there. So these little things that she was discovering that I didn't discover until I was way old, she was finding just naturally by just being free and safe. And so her parents wanted me to curb this. And actually the journey we went on was allowing her parents to come much more into the reality of the trauma story they have in their own sexuality, in their own sexual expression of who they are as humans, as animals, as beings that can experience something that is good and clean and safe. When I use the word clean, what do I mean by that? I mean that a lot of society has this viewpoint that sexual exploration is dirty, it's sinful, it's wrong. I just really want to weep for my own story in that, and for many, many stories I hear and I see and I read about, where faith or religion or family pressure or society's views have made what is natural and beautiful and a gift something dirty. There are spaces that are not so clean. There are spaces that are not so safe. There are spaces that are to be taken with caution. But these spaces don't judge the whole. Just like in any other scenario, within banking or politics or sport or schooling or child's play or church leaders, there are always spaces that are dirty, that need cleaning out. But this sacred sexuality and this expression of how to raise my children with sex positivity is not a space that needs cleaning out. It's a space that needs expanding and growing. And so when I'm with your children, I can talk openly about sexuality and about things that will awaken in them their own ability to engage with their body in the most healthiest of ways. So my heart for my children is that they will continue to ask questions like they do, that sometimes make me, and sometimes just make me weep, and sometimes make me realise I need to sit with them and give them more time, because somewhere out there has given them the impression of something quite limiting and damaging. I don't want to be frightened to talk about sex with my children. I don't want to be frightened for them to experience healthy sexuality and then to watch their journey into play and pleasure when it comes from safety and honour and respect. I am excited to be part of a revolution of parents who are not fearing this discussion with their children, but who are stepping up and learning what is appropriate at what stage, and answering questions directly and honestly as they come, and allowing their children to find themselves in new ways, without shame and without caution and without restriction. My husband and I have both personally, individually and together as a couple had to go on quite a journey of healing and restoration with our own sexuality. It's a story for another time, but I don't want that for my children. And I can tell you from the conversations we have around our dinner table, I don't think that's going to be the case. If anyone would love some support in ways to handhold their children, or themselves personally to be prepared for the children that's coming or that's there now, but you personally don't feel ready to face this because of your own story, I super duper would love to work with you. So get in touch, and the conversation starts here, and it starts with connection, and I'm waiting to connect with you on this subject.